Well, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 35, or episode 9 of season 3 of Natsume's Book of Friends. And man, so last episode, for being a rule of 8, was pretty chill. Still tried to make me cry in the last 5 minutes. But I think one of the big things to take away from it is that Madara is injured from our encounter with Matoba, and that is something that might present itself as a problem. So luckily, last week, our little fox spirit was able to hold his own pretty well, and we didn't have to rely upon Madara, but Madara's pretty much useless. And we've also set up some really tense things this season that could happen before the season's even over. Like Matoba could come back looking for Natsume because he has a fascination with him because it's Natsume's Book of Boyfriends. And also from the fact that there are, other exorcists, and the fact that I just think that the plot line of Madara being hurt is going to come back in this season, along with the idea that Natsume is probably eventually, by the end of season 3, gonna have to tell his parents, the Fujiwaras, about him being able to see Yokai. If not, I think that he's going to have to at least tell his friends. We'll see how that goes. We'll see where that goes to from here. But yeah, so I'm going to be honest with y'all about a couple things. One, I have not checked comments from the last week's episode that I usually do because I wanted to record this ahead of time because of scheduling. And two, because I have a slight little tick of a migraine left. It's not enough that I just wanted to sit in my home and not do anything this evening, but it is there. It's just like an annoying headache. You get a headache and it's like right here in the back of your head and you're like, it's annoying, gross, but it's not like debilitating. That's where I'm at. So if you see me do this, it's just me being like, why? But I did want to watch this episode because it's been a week since I've watched episode 34 and that was long enough. So with that being said, I am excited to see what we get this episode. I hope you all are as well. I want to give a shout out over to our philanthropy tier over on Patreon to let them know that they are awesome, along with all of you on YouTube that subscribe, as well as those of you that support me on Patreon. I have so many reactions on my channel. There is probably a show for you that you've not seen yet that I've done, and hopefully you check out the playlist that I have on my YouTube channel and check out all the videos that I have tagged on Patreon as well. So in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to Alex Cornejo, Anime Annie, to Be Happy, to BBT, to Bryant Reed, as well as Dana, Damage3245, Danny Donmai, Devorin, Destiny Marie, Danger Zone, Ichu, Eric, Fisho, Ghostly Turnip, as well as El Freya, Liam Poles, Lyndon, Matthew Palfinier, Murphy, Nameless Monster, Nicholas, Moroni W, Alexandra Q, Shimoyama Sunspots, Translucent Men, and Trails. Thank you all so much for all of your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, we're just going to dive into this episode and see what we get, shall we? I'm super excited. I hope you all are as well, but we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to dive right into Natsume's Book of Friends and see what we get, and we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh, man. There is something to be said about, I was thinking about what I wanted to watch this evening, and like I said, I do have like the little remnants of a headache, and I was like, sometimes super intense shows, they don't help. So I was like, I want to watch something that's kind of soothing, but all the shows on my channel are interesting, so I look forward to each of them every week. And Natsume has this special place in my heart watching where it always feels good to like wind down the end of the day with a nice show that's like soothing and calming, but still engaging. And that's kind of where Natsume falls into. And I'm going to cover that up. But yeah, I feel like Natsume is just such a great go-to, and it's very hard for me to not watch ahead, because if it were up to me, I'd probably already be on season 5. But I'm trying to pace myself in case if I get some comments that are, really worth talking about within the season itself. So next week too, we're going to be watching 2 episodes in one. So next week we'll be doing episodes 36 and 37, 9 and or 10 and 11 together. So we'll talk about that in the discussion. But I am super excited to have another 2-parter, to start the month off with a 2-parter and end the month with a 2-parter. It feels right. Right? It feels correct. Oh. Another cultural fair? I've also been watching Bloom Into You, which has a cultural fair as well. You would want a bunny girl cafe. Fairies? I like the one guy's thinking about what girls want to go see. Why are you thinking of fairies in the cafe? Oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no! Oh shit! That would look like he jumped from their angle. Oh no! Was he like obviously talking to a yokai? Oh my god, bitch. I feel like he's gonna eventually have to tell them. Oh. Oh, well, of course. What about you? I guess it's the end of the day, so luckily, yeah, it is sunset, so at least it's not early morning before school. What were you boys doing in the pond? Aww. She's like, oh, you're just being silly teenage boys. Aww. And he's like, to him, troublesome does not mean like in a joking manner. Aww. But they're going to find out eventually. Through the autumn wind. They're going to find out, Natsume. You're going to deal with that. I know, it feels weird with Madara not being loud and obnoxious. Oh my god, my pet rock came to life. Oh, I love that he grabs Madara. Creepy, why? What? Oh my god! Yes! That was brilliant! What was the rock's problem? Hinaway, love you. Why are you wearing shoes in my house, winch? The cat ball. He's sleeping a lot and is abnormally quiet. Oh my god. Adorable. Oh, that means he's healing. Okay, good. Aww. Oh no. Drinking the night away. Oh no. Yes. Why? Chobi. Chobi's its name. Oh, have fun and protect you. Sure. That's what every drunk says. Yeah. Don't let things get to hurting you. I love that they can make all that noise. Oh no! This teacher looks 20. Maybe, oh, maybe they are a student, like a school council member. A bazaar? Aw. He is a students council person. Okay. Me while I'm standing up. A rummage sale. Aw. Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Sasada, quit getting on to him. What? No! Aww. Oh no, he's like, I don't have customer service skills. Hey! Taki and Tanama, look at them. I was gonna say, are they doing a play? Oh, I'm just the lighting guy. Cool. A cross-dressing cafe. He's like, I'm glad our class didn't do that. Oh, wow. It's been a year already. Wow. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I love how much we show these characters growing. That's so good. None of us are social people, but we're going to do our best. Aw. Oh. Oh. Ah! Don't worry. He's not really that interested in Taki. They look like they're just good friends. Uh-huh. He's keeping stuff from you, too. Really? How about you go ask her if she's okay with that? Oh, so that's how it was decided. Well, that makes more sense. Shakespeare? That doesn't sound easy. You guys seem pretty excited to see him in white tights. Yeah, good luck with your customer service. Oh, shit! Yeah, I would think... Oh. Oh, well, good. Okay. Woo! Woo, it's just paint. I just thought it might have been blood. You know, no big deal. Aw. What if it was? What would I have done? Ugh. Is she a yokai? Oh shit, nope. Oh, she was possessed by the rock on the ground. Throw it out the window! Throw it out the window! Clearly it possessed that girl. Yes! Why would you still be holding on to it? Well, don't hold it, that's for damn sure. Oh, well, of course you would be that way. Hail to the no. No! No, fudge! It's the stupid... It looks like No Face. Oh my god. She's like, well, you were screaming, so... Oh. Huh. What secret did it want to know about? I was gonna say, if there was no Madara... Hinaway. Ooh. I love the Hinaway is watching over Madara. Mm-hmm. Don't be like that, Natsume. Yes. Hmm. Oh no. Uh-oh. Ugh. What is the secret? Interesting. Show me the meaning of being lonely. Yeah, Hinaway's like, I'm warning you, kid. The cat ball. I love that she's watching over him. Aw. I kind of ship Madara and Hinaway a lot, actually, because they're just so good for each other. Or does it just want to know about what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Oh, he said rest in peace. Madara's like, I'm not dead yet. Oh. He just his little... Aw. Yeah. Yeah, like last time. And figure out what's going on. Natsume taking all this damn responsibility. You know. Aww. No, 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 no. Don't think that. Don't think that. Oh. Oh. Well, that wasn't it at all. Well, you're not wrong there. Oh. 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 Natsume, you gotta be honest with them. He's gonna have to eventually be honest with them. Oh. Oh. Oh, sweetheart. No. Suji, okay. Oh, thank goodness it's an apron. I know that he would feel awkward. Oh. I hate that Natsume has to be paranoid. Macbeth, that's what you're doing for a school play? Macbeth? Oh, I'd be exactly where Natsume is. Poor sweetheart. Yeah, neither of them happy with what they gotta do. Oh, nice. Oh my god, left-hand shark right there in front. Look at that. Along with little shrimp man. Is that a Sagi Yoichi by chance? Oh, Madara running around. He looks like the Burger King! Ah! A rummage sale. They literally had a rummage sale. They're like, with me? I want this panda for 5 cents, bitch. Oh, it's her. And look at the suit. She looks great in a guy's suit. That's amazing. Natsume's like, there's too many women. I'm not used to this. I love his hair's like all fixed up. That looks really good on him. He's like, thank God. Take over, Sasada. Bye. They're like, we're not here for you, girl. Oh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, in front of all these people. Oh no. He's got the Burger King crown. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Go, Madara! Oh no. Ooh. Can I protect them? Oh. Why can't you ride a bike? Oh. Nobody taught him how to ride a bike. Oh, they taught him how to ride a bike. Oh. Oh. The more people I care about, the more uneasy I feel. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Imagine that. Oh. 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 But that's okay. That's the way humans are. Oh. 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 And Tanama too. And then Susanna's there too. I love talking. Look, you got more rivalry with the cat than you do with Natsume. Yes. I love his little feet movements. The feet animation's so cute. Oh, yeah, good. Yes. Oh, good, good. This made me feel so much better. Oh. Sweet Natsume. Sweet, sweet Natsume. Ah. That was so cute. Y'all. That was so sweet. Y'all, I cannot take it. I cannot believe that we're on episode 10 next week of this season. Also, the streaming service has updated. So now Crunchyroll has them separated by seasons. I'm assuming since season 7 came out, they were like, we need to get our shit in order. So when I went to go watch the episode today, I was like, oh, see, there's seasons 1, season 2, season 3. They're all organized now. I was like, what is this nonsense? I mean, not nonsense. It's great. It's just amazing it took so long. So yeah. Oh. So good. Although the one thing is now that they've separated them by seasons, it says that they did this back like in September. So it won't show like the original airing date of it, which is what it is, but we all know. We know. Oh my gosh. Y'all. Oh, just, it does a body good. It's so funny because honestly, I feel like there is a healing quality to Natsume's Book of Friends. It could also be the headache medicine that I took kicking in, but I love Natsume's Book of Friends because it finds a way to not only be exciting and engaging and you're like, oh shit, this thing's happening. But then by the end of the episode, you're like, oh. But I will be honest, this season has definitely given a moment to be like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And that's literally how this episode kept making me feel because Natsume wants things to be a certain way. And it's understandable why he thinks that because when he's grown up, he's been by himself. He's been shuffled around from house to house and has never had like a fixed, stable point. And this is the first time where he's actually gotten to kind of be with people that could be friends and family for life. And so now it's sort of a different, environment for Natsume to wade through. But the two friends, Kishimoto and Natsuhara, I love them talking about like what they want for the Culture Festival. I love that the one, I can't remember which one he is, but he's the one not with the dark brown hair, but the other one, the one that likes Taki. And I'm like, dude, she is out of your league. But the one that likes Taki, he wants a bunny girl cafe. And I was like, of course you do. Of course you do. And I like that the other guy is like, well, nobody's going to go for bunny girls. Why not fairies? And I was like, fairies? You could make a joke. You can make a BL joke there. I feel like the one guy, Nishimoto, I think that's his name. I think he's more on board with the BL agenda than the other guy is. Or maybe he's just in denial. Who knows? Or maybe they're just best friends. We'll just go with it. I just like making the joke. But he's like, why not fairies? Chicks love fairies. They don't want to come see bunny girls. And he's like, fairies? I want to see girls in bunny girl costumes. So what I like about this opening scene is that they get to see Natsume engaging with a yokai from the outside perspective. So we get to see what they see. We see Natsume and like yokais everywhere and it's all dramatic and crazy and there's intense music and everything. Here, it looks so silly. And Natsume looks like he's jumping and talking to himself and everything. And we, the audience, know, no, he's dealing with a yokai. And then he ends up falling and they end up going to get him. So Kitamoto and Nishimura. That's it. Yeah, Kitamoto is the one with the dark hair. And then, of course, we see this one little yokai scurry away. It looks like if Casper from Casper the Friendly Ghost, Slimer from Ghostbusters, and No Face from Spirited Away all mushed together to create this little ghostly yokai. He says he wants to know what the secret is. And I assumed, my interpretation was that he wanted to know the secret of making and having friends and not being lonely. The secret of not being lonely. Because that seems to be what Natsume, now that he has these friends, what he's got. I also like that the two friends, Nishimoto and, the other one, their names are going to escape me forever. But I love that they're constantly looking out for Natsume and they're like, hey, we're your friends. You can talk to us. That's what this whole series is building towards. Season 3 is building towards the people that Natsume is trying to have as friends and family without revealing that he knows about yokai. It's just not sustainable. They're gonna find out. And so it's like, you're gonna have to tell them eventually. And I think what I'm hopeful for is that Natsume will be able to tell these people and they won't walk away from him. They'll support him and be there for him. I'm hoping that that's what happens. We don't know for sure yet. I feel like the Fujiwaras would support him. We know that Taki and Tanama are. Sasada would. But I have a feeling that the two other guys would support him as well based on this episode. But Natsume, he's so used his entire life to being abandoned and people judging him and running away from him that he just can't. It's such a trigger to him. It's such a reflex that he just doesn't think it's possible for someone to be friends with him or family with him without judging him that way. And it's understandable where Natsume comes from because he's dealt with this his whole life. So why wouldn't he think otherwise? It's such an ingrained feeling. But I also love it. Togo's like, oh, you silly boys, just having a good time. That's fun. But yeah, he's like, the people I've met in this town are all so kind. I can't ever let them find out that I can see yokai. And I'm like, it's gonna happen. Whether it's this season or next season, I feel like that's the next turning point. It's on the horizon. So this episode's called Through the Autumn Wind, which was a very misleading title. It did not give anything away as to what it was about, so that's good. I appreciated that. Also, I hate to say this, Madara in his little healing form was absolutely adorable. He'd just be like, like it was a little sneezy thing. That was so precious. It felt weird to have Madara not talking the entire time, but I love the fact that he's healing. Also, not gonna lie, this episode, I totally ship Hinaway and Madara. I ship them hardcore. I love that Hinaway just has Madara in her lap, like petting him. Like, as far as shipping yokai goes, Madara and Hinaway, I ship pretty much. I like it a lot. Yeah, this rock was creepy as hell. I love that Hinaway just booted it away. Also, I love that Natsume instantly gets onto her for having shoes on in his room. We talked about this in the Discord because people were talking about like customs of wearing shoes in the house and how in Japan it's incredibly frowned upon. Look, I grew up in a farmhouse and we always took our shoes off at the door because your shoes are probably nasty from being outside, right? When I'm at home, it's the weirdest convention. I don't know. Things in the US really depend on your culture and your family and upbringing. It's a big hodgepodge. There's not like a universal convention. It's weird. When I'm at home, I take my shoes off. And when I have people over, I ask them to take their shoes off. Now, my best friend has a situation where they need to have their shoes on to walk. So I'm like, okay, well, no, that's fine. But here's the thing that's weird. I've noticed this. When I go to other people's houses, I see what the convention is. Because some people at other people's houses, if they have like hardwood floors, they'll keep their shoes on. And I've noticed that. And if everybody else is keeping their shoes on, I'm like, I guess I will too. But then if it's like you get to a carpeted house, I'll take my shoes off. So it's weird. it's all like social convention. And it's just like, I don't know. But I like that he gets onto her for that. So, and she says that when you're hurt, you can't really sleep. That is a really good point. Like this morning, I had a migraine all day and I could not properly sleep. I kept tossing and turning and moving from one place to the other to sleep. And when you are sleeping, that is a sign that your body is getting well. It's replenishing itself. It's healing itself. So that was good. Also, I really like that these two guys show up to come drinking. And I feel like they are just paying back Madara for all the times he came and wrecked their parties. They're like, well, now it's our turn to come and wreck yours. Also, we get a name for Chobi. We get a name for the big-headed yokai. Chobi shows up and he's like, I'm ready to get slammed. Poor Madara. I like the Hinaway watches over him, though. Super cute. So, yeah. So then we have the student council meeting. I thought the one guy, Toji, or Suji, was a teacher at first, but he's a student council person. For the culture fair, they're asking for ideas. Does anybody have ideas for the class? And people are like, oh, a cafe with cross-dressing waitresses. Now, a little bit sexist from this student council or student. They're like, none of the guys would come to that. I'm like, look, I am very secure in my sexuality, but Taki with the suit on looked amazing. And if you guys aren't going to see Taki with the suit on, you're missing out. So sorry, dudes. Like, of course, that'd be like the high school hetero boys answer. Of course it would be. But I was like, she looked amazing with the suit on. I would be like, if I was a girl that was into girls, I'd be all about that. If I was a guy that was into girls, I'd be all about that. But what do these high school kids know? What do they know? No. So then they say after that, they're like, oh, bunny girls, bunny girls. And then I like that the one girl beside him is like, we can't do a cafe with bunny girls. It's not school appropriate. Like she shuts him down instantly. And he's like, oh. They're like, I want to be able to walk around, so we should do a display. And then somebody says, we should do a bazaar. Now, a bazaar, I know what a bazaar is. When they were talking about selling stuff, to me, that's called a rummage sale. But it did work out, so I thought that was good. And they're like, oh, a bazaar, that'll be easy. What's so sad here is that Natsume talks about how everybody's having a good time and it's all cozy and nostalgic. But whenever he's talking about it, he's not including himself in the conversation. He's trying to act like a fly on the wall, like he's not there with them. And that makes me sad because I'm like, Natsume, your friends are trying to include you. And to him, he's like, oh, well, I'm just here, so that's enough. And it's like, no, you need to get in there and be with your friends and have a good time, right? So like, we could take stuff that we don't need from our homes and sell it in a rummage sale. He's like, when I hear everybody's voices, I feel at home. So then we see the girl that's looking down at the rock. And I feel like the girl that was possessed looked down at the rock and it possessed her. I feel like that's exactly what happened. But for a second, I had no clue what was going on. Then Sasada, who I'm going to be curious in the manga if she's even there, they're like, Natsume will work the store. And he's like, what? Why? And everybody's like, oh. I like the one friend, Nishimura. He like looks excited, but like Natsume's going to get involved, which is great. Then we have Taki and Tanama, the other besties of Natsume. The trifecta of threesome is completed. I love it. And she's like, so you're working the store. So their class is doing the cafe, the cross-dressing cafe, and Tanama's class is doing the play. I like that Tanama's like, I'm doing the lighting. I'm not acting in this shit. Which it was Macbeth. Macbeth is not an easy play to pull off. Macbeth is actually pretty hard. So I'm like, for a class to do, and plus it's Shakespeare. Reading Shakespeare and translating it into Japanese. Reading Shakespeare as someone that speaks English is hard enough. I can't imagine translating it to Japanese. Be insane. And so, yeah. And so Taki's like, look, a year ago, I wouldn't have got to participate in this. I can't believe it's been so long. Like, time has just flown by in this series. She's like, I wouldn't have got to participate in this last year because of the yokai. She's like, now I want us to go all out and give our all. And Natsume's like, okay, cool. I like that we have our three introverts. We have Tanama and we have Taki and Natsume. And they're like, we're the three introverted geeks and we're, in tune with the occult and we're going to do our best at the Culture Festival. I love a Culture Festival. It's so much fun. Okay, so Kitamoto and, what is his name? They're like, who's the star of the play? They're like, oh, so he's like, oh, there's the star of our play. And they're like, star? And then it's Kitamoto. Okay, so Kitamoto is the one with the dark hair that for some reason he gives off an Ushijima vibe from Haikyuu. I can't explain why, but for some reason maybe he gives me off an Ushijima and Sosuke from Free vibe. I think it's the hair, but he does. So Kishimoto is the more mature of the two, and Nakamura is the other one, I'm pretty sure. I'm just like, he's the one that grabs Natsume, and he's like, Nishimura. There we go, Nishimura. I'll remember Nishimura's name one of these days. And he's like, you know, lately you've gotten really close to Take-san. And Natsume's like, look, I'm not interested in anybody right now. Taki's my friend. Taki's my bestie. And poor Nishimura, he is just trying to get Natsume to let him date Taki. And he's like, Taki's mine. And I'm like, well, what would Taki say about that? I'm pretty sure she's way out of your league, buddy. And then she goes, they look like good friends. Like, yeah, and Tanama's like, yeah, they're not a threat. That's my thing. A lot of people are like, oh, you can't just let two guys be friends. And I know, I think it goes both ways. I think a lot of times when guys see girls that are best friends, they're like, but I'm like, look, there is a staunch difference in this series. Like, I've joked about Kitamoto and Nishimura being, you know, involved because they've been in situational humor scenarios where you're like, there's the joke. But if they're just besties, I totally get it. It's fine. But do I ship either of those two men with Natsume? No, they're friends. They're specifically bros. It's a bro ship, a friendship. That is all that they are to me. Do I view Tanama and Natsume the same way I do Natsume with his two guy friends? No, because there is a difference in the way that they animate it. There's a difference in the scenarios they're put into. There is a staunch difference. And I'm sorry, if the show would give us more moments like him with his two friends from school, then I wouldn't think that way. But Tanama's like, I'm not threatened by them. She's like, Natsume can't even tell his best friends about Yokai, can he? And Tanama says, well, he still can't tell us everything, you know. Tanama's pretty perceptive. Tanama's like, he's keeping secrets. And then she's like, well, that's sad, you know. So anyway, there's the one girl. So anyway, we get to the point where he's like, well, I'll go see it. And they're like, oh, you're working the store, Natsume. He's like, yeah, I'll go see your play. And so then they get to this door where there's blood. I honestly thought it was blood too. I did not think it was paint. I thought it was blood. I liked that the very first thing that Natsume thinks, though, is, okay, is this a yokai's blood? Because nobody else is freaking out about it, which means it's probably not human blood. And also, a human having that much blood would be very unrealistic. So at first he wonders if it's blood or not, but then they realize that it was paint. And they're like, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, I'm fine. I wish Natsume would have just said, oh, the blood just freaked me out. Because that would have been a very normal reaction. Like, oh, the paint looked like blood. It freaked me out for a second. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. But his two friends seem to think that there's something wrong with him. And they assume that it's that he doesn't want to participate in the activity. And the reality is that no, he just is on alert because of the yokai, which the yokai possessing people, specifically possessing girls, is really creepy. I don't like it at all, right? And so him hiding in the supply room to try to figure out what to do with the rock. And at first I was like, well, just throw the rock away. Just get rid of it. But of course, Natsume is a patron saint. And he's like, oh, well, if I get rid of the rock, some other girl or some other guy might be affected. And I'm like, oh, of course you would say that. Of course you would say that. So it's like, So he didn't want to throw the rock away. And that's when Sasada, shows up, which I'm going to be curious about because here's the thing. In the manga, Sasada's gone. She's not present in the manga. So I'm going to be curious who finds him in the storage shed that's not Sasada. And she asks if he's sick and he's like, oh no, I'm fine. She's like, well, you scared me. He's like, what do I do with this? So then Hinoue is like, okay, well, there's a pretty powerful yokai there and it's possessing people. So don't know what we're going to do about this. She's like, it's probably hiding inside others in order to get close to you because it's interested in you. You're powerful and it wants to try to hurt you. You're probably just making it curious too, because now that it's found you, it wants to figure out what all these other things surrounding you are and try to figure out like what's with your heart. Why do you like people? Why do you do certain things? It's a very curious yokai that's also pretty dangerous. I do love Hinaway sitting there with Natsume. She's like, you've just got to last till Madara heals up. So, of course, Natsume's like, is it the Book of Friends that the rock yokai wants to know about? Oddly enough, we don't know. We don't get that impression. So, we don't know. The yokai, Madara scares it off and gets rid of it. We don't know if the yokai was after. It kept talking about the secret. So, we don't know if the yokai was referring to the Book of Friends, if the yokai was talking about something else, if the yokai was connected to the exorcists. We don't know its background or if it was connected to anything, which is kind of problematic because it would be nice to know. But yeah, I love Natsume telling Madara about the culture fair and giving him a little rub there. That's so sweet. He's like, there's going to be a shop and all sorts of things to do, and there'll be lots of good things to eat. He's like, I have to find that yokai. I can't let anything happen to the people at school because of me. So then his friends show up, Nishimura and Kitamoto. They show up, and he's like, and what's so sad and scary is that for a second, Natsume, doubts his friends or thinks that his friends are possessed, which is not the case. And to me, that just shows right there that eventually he's going to have to tell them about the yokai so that they know what's going on. Because otherwise, it's going to drive a wedge and make him start to not trust them. And it could make him believe that he doesn't need to be around them. And it's so frustrating. And I'm like, no. Because he makes a glare, and then they're like, hey, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. He's like, you looked really pale today. And he's like, oh, no, that's not it. They're like, you're always trying to hide what you're thinking anyway, which is true. They are not wrong. They're very perceptive as friends. And they're like, don't do that with us. We want you to have fun with this. So I like that they're being his friends, and they're like, hey, if you got something that you're upset about, tell us. We're your friends. If you don't want to do this, we'll speak up for you and help you get out of it if it's going to make you upset. And that's so sweet. And he's like, if you don't want to do it, then tell us. They're being so genuine. They're like, we'll do it instead. And Natsume's like, oh my God. It's like Natsume's like, I was about to second guess and get mad at these people who are my friends and actually came to stick up for me. And you can tell he feels really awful in that moment because he's like, no, it's fine. He's like, thanks. He's like, but I really want to do it. He's like, I'm looking forward to it, And then the scene right after that, where Madara wakes up and Natsume is crying. And we don't get to see him crying, but you can hear him sobbing. And he says, I'm so happy. Because in that moment, he's like, I'm so happy. What should I do? He's like, I'm so happy I have these friends that I've never had before. But what should I do about this yokai? He's like, I don't want it to ruin things. And I'm like, his trepidation with it all and his sadness is so relatable that when stuff's going well, sometimes you do fall into that dark place where you think something bad's gonna happen. What can I do to stop it? And it's just I felt so badly for him. I felt so bad for Natsume. I really did. It sucks. It sucks for him. So yeah, they all get all their aprons that they have to wear and the bow that they have to sew onto the apron. My thing is, girl, you give him the apron with the bow. You couldn't sew it on for him. Why'd you make him wear that? Why'd you make him sew it on himself? That's actually a hard task if you don't have sewing skills. I do think that Natsume, he does come out sometimes, and I think that he constantly worries about his body image and his physicality. He talked to Shigure 2 episodes ago, or last episode. It was last week, in last week's episode when they were at the onsen. He talked to, Shigure about how he worries that his body isn't masculine enough. And he doesn't like being presented as feminine. He's like, no, I'm a man. And so I really liked that this show looks at Natsume and kind of explores the idea of how men are represented and how they feel about their bodies. And I know that the author is a woman, but I mean, how many times do men write about women? But I do feel like it is important to portray Natsume as a character that's like, no, I'm a guy. I don't want to be presented this way. It reminds me a lot of Shi Lien from Heaven Official's Blessing, if I'm being honest. It reminds me a lot of Shi Lien because Shi Lien kind of, without spoiling anything, sort of has the same issue come up throughout the story where he's like, I'm a man. I don't want to be presented as feminine, even though that tends to happen. So I feel for Natsume. I feel like he kind of is in the same boat. He's like, but why? I also like seeing the Culture Festival take shape. Everybody putting up all the decorations. Somebody's got like the big mask on in the background. They're moving stuff around. Women are sewing. Guys are moving the equipment around. It's super cute. And they're like, don't let your guard down. But he ends up helping to get stuff all taken care of. Poor Kitamoto. He's like, is this a dagger with which I see before me? The handle toward the hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I'm like, oh, Macbeth is hard. And then although sewing that bow onto that damn apron would be hard too. My great-grandmother was a quilter. She was amazing at quilting. She could quilt like nobody's business, and she could sew and do all of this. And she made me a quilt in college, and she's like, I want you to sew a square to say that you sewed one of these squares as part of the quilt. And I was like, all right, cool. So I remember being at her house, and this little 4x4 square took me an hour to sew. And I kept poking myself, like what Natsume's doing here. I kept poking myself and like getting bandages and like sucking the blood off my fingers. And it's so clumsy. I still have the quilt. It's so clumsy. And my great-grandmother was like in her 90s at the time, very salty. And I loved her. And when I got done, she just calmly took the sewing needle back, and she literally told me, she goes, well, that's nice. We all don't have the gift. And I was like, nope, sure don't. We all don't have the gift. I was like, Poor Natsume does not have the gift either. I feel for him. I really do. And poor Kishimoto looks like, he's like, I have thee not. And yet I see, he's like, I can't do it. There's too many lines. How he do I want to know what Drag Race challenge winners in that class decided on, because in Drag Race, I love Drag Race, there's an acting challenge, and usually they give out the scripts and they either assign roles ahead of time or they all work as a group to assign roles. Drawing straws to assign roles is a terrible idea. No, because then you get this situation where Kishimoto's like, I can't be the king. I don't know this. Meanwhile, then Nishimura shows up and he's like, you guys look really down. He's like, I don't have to do shit. So this festival all comes together. I did love the animation of them setting it all up. It looked really good. And then there's like somebody in a shrimp costume and a shark costume, which is great. I love it. And everybody's walking around getting food and stuff. Oh my God. Kishimoto as the king. What we've seen in this episode is how he will look when he's 40. That is exactly how he will look when he's 40. So if you're into that, there you go. But yeah, and then they have like all the stuff that people didn't want. I like the one person took a toaster from their house. I really hope that their family's not missing their toaster. I hope that's not the case. But yeah, so then the girls are like, oh, can we take a picture with you? Can you give me a discount on this shitty panda? And then, man, Taki with the hair in the ponytail and the suit. Girl, would go visit that cafe in an instant. And Natsume's like, that's nice. So then, of course, Asada takes over and all the girls are instantly sad because Natsume doesn't look bad when he even has like his hair combed a certain way. It looks really nice on him. But yeah, he like goes to the locker room to get away from it all because it's too much. I'm curious to know if the manga has anything different, if like who relieves him of his duties. And then the one girl comes in. As I'm recording this, I just got done recording Uzumaki. So the spiral hair that she has is freaking me out just a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, so then she comes in there. And then I was honestly afraid when he chased after her that some other people were going to get involved. I was really afraid that the school was going to get involved. And the last thing Natsume needs is to draw attention to themselves. But luckily, only the two guys. I like that he kept the Burger King crown on. He did look like the Burger King as he goes by. But what ends up happening is that they run into all the stuff. Natsume gets knocked out. The spirit leaves him. And luckily, Madara shows up at the last minute to be like, be gone, plebeian. And save Natsume as he shows back up. Now, I like the bicycle wheel and the spokes. He's like, even though I can't tell them about seeing yokai, they're my friends. What are you protecting? And he's like, yes, can I protect them? And then we see him meeting them for the first time. Like, why don't you ask Toko-san for a bike already? And he's like, oh, I don't know how to ride a bike. And they're like, but why? And then, like it was nothing, he said, oh, well, you can't ride those things without somebody behind you, right? Implying that he's been shuffled around house to house with no one teaching him to ride a bike because he's been all alone his whole life. If that doesn't just here, take my heart. Here you go. Like that. Oh my God. That was so sad. And then, yeah. And so what happens is the friends are like, well, we'll help you. And I love that they just instantly help him learn to ride a bike and they become friends. And he's like, they're important to me. So what should I do? He's like, I don't want to lose them. And I feel for Natsume because Natsume is in a hard place where it's not just him telling them about the yokai, because that is a big part of it, that he's worried they won't accept him. And that is a worry. But that's not all of it. It's the fact that he could end up in a situation like with Matoba and them where these yokai could seriously hurt them. And he's afraid he's not going to be able to protect them. And that is a cause for concern. So it's like, damn. So it's like, well, what is he going to do? So it definitely leaves a lot of us to wonder where things are going to go. He's like, there's so much I don't understand. And that's going to be a big part of Natsume's journey, to be like, how can I tell them about myself? But how can I also protect them and keep myself safe and also be able to interact with yokai? So it's a complicated answer. It always seems like, I think it's coming the moment he's going to have to tell them all about the yokai. I don't know if it's going to be this season or not, but it is coming. But then the big question is going to be, how does he tell them? What does he tell them? How does this go? There are a lot of factors to consider. And I don't know if we're going to get through all of them in this season alone, but we have 7 seasons, so there's plenty of time to think about such things. I'm glad Madara got his squid. That was good. And then Natsume saying, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything alone. And then Madara says the simplest thing. He's like, that's the way humans are. They can't do everything alone. That's part of it. I love him petting him. He's like, I almost saw something. And then they all show up. This felt like Return of the King when Frodo sits up in his bed after he gets picked up by the eagles. And then Gandalf comes in. And then Merry and Pippin come in. And then Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli come in. And then Sam comes in at the end. It just felt like Lord of the Rings. It was so good. And you're like, what are you thinking, you idiot? And then, of course, Tanema and Taki show up. And then Sasada shows up and everybody's there. I love it. I also love this image of, you have Nishimura trying to go towards Taki. Taki is cuddling Madara. Madara has no choice. And then you have, it's like Tanema and Natsume looking at her, both being like, that's our bestie. I love it. So damn cute. And he's like, I keep finding more things that are different and I keep on going. I also love the animation where Madara's got his little feet moving. That was the cutest little animation ever at the very end. I love it. He's like, the culture fair's over. And they're like, do you want to go fishing and ride bikes? And he's like, yes. Even if they're small, I take one step at a time. I love that. See, him going fishing with the bros and riding their bike. They're just being friends. And that's so sweet. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. So this was an amazing episode, y'all. This was an amazing episode. I needed this. It was great. I needed this episode. It was so heartwarming. But as I was saying in the ED, next week, I love that we start out this month with a 2-parter. We started out this month with episodes 32 and 33. We're going to round out this month next week with episodes 36 and 37, episodes 10 and 11 of season 3. I'm so excited. The moderators told me I need to watch those episodes together, which is fine. It's not the season finale. We still will have episodes 12 and 13 after that separately. But I was told I need to watch 10 and 11 together, so that's what we're going to do. So anyway, I'm super excited for next week, but I am curious to know your thoughts down below. I'll have checked comments by next week, so don't worry. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'm excited to see what we get with episodes 36 and 37, episodes 10 and 11 of season 3 of Natsume's Book of Friends. See you then. Bye.